Hello there, this is Dave Motorhead. A couple guys on the ship's thread asked, how to run a motor out of the car, and they didn't know how to wire it up or what they had to do. So I've got one sitting here that's all hooked up. So I thought I'd run through it real quick just to help somebody out that might need to, know how to do this. So anyways, first thing you have to have is you have to have an engine. You don't have to have the official General Motors Corvair engine stand, but I have one. Anyways, first thing you need is a battery. And so what you want to do is you want to go from the negative of the battery and you want to ground the engine block. That's what that is right there. There's the ground. I have it hooked to the bell housing. So you want to ground the engine block. The next one, on the positive side, you want to come off the positive and you want to follow it around and you want to hook it to this solenoid right there. The big nut on the solenoid, just like it's in the car. Okay, so that's what that is. So you got your positive going to the solenoid of the starter, and you got your negative grounded in the block. And then the next wire you want to go to the coil. You want to go to the positive side of the coil with a wire, and you want to put a inline ballast resistor in there like this one. I think this is a 2 ohm or so ballast resistor, or I think it's a 2.5, so it'll drop the voltage down to about, I don't know, 7 or 8 volts or so. If you don't put one of those in line there, you're feeding 12 volts straight to the coil, and when you start it up, I found they run for a minute and then they shut right off. So if you're building a new motor, you don't want it to shut off. You want to run it up and build oil pressure as quickly as possible, so you won't flatten the cam or screw things up. So it's always a good idea to put the ballast resistor in there. I think you can buy those at Radio Shack. And then I always put a oil pressure gauge on there. This is an old one. I think this old S&W. I don't know if you see that too much. And I run those down and put it right in at the oil pressure switch. I take the oil pressure switch out and I just put a oil pressure gauge on there. And then we've got the old tachometer here, which is hooked up there so we can see what engine RPM we're running. So that's pretty much how you wire them up to run. And then what you want is you want the remote starter switch, which I have an old one that I built here years and years ago. And you want to hook that onto the S right there on the solenoid, this one's the R, that goes to the resistance wire. That one's the S, which I think it stands for start. And then you can clip the other end of your starter thing up there like that. And then when you push the button, the engine will turn over. So that's how you get to start, You push the button, it'll turn over. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run fuel. That's what this is. It's a fuel line to the pump, the fuel pump inlet. And I always like to put a piece of clear line in, like you see here. We got clear with the filter. And then you just stick that. I don't have a gas can. I'm not going to start it, but you stick that in the gas can, and all you have to do is loosen the bolt on your fuel pump down here, and then you can just put your hand on here like this and push it up and down, and you can watch it pump the fuel in through the clear line, so you know you're getting fuel. And once you're getting fuel in here and you can watch it flow, you can check inside the carburetors and operate them a little bit, and you'll see when there's fuel squirting down in there, so you know you got fuel in the bowls of your carburetor. And then once you got fuel in the carbs, you tighten this nut back down so when it starts up it'll run. And then all you have to do, once you got fuel in the carbs and you got all your wiring hooked up, all you have to do is hook your coil wire up, which is this green one. I know green means ground, but it's the wire that I've got in the garage. And all you got to do is hook it up to your positive side, which energizes the coil and it'll usually spark. If you look at this, well, maybe it won't spark yet. Well, it'll only spark if you got your points in the right place. Anyway, you hook that puppy up to your positive, and so then you've got positive going to the coil, through the ballast resistor, which is giving it about 8 volts or so. And you've got your positive going to the solenoid. You've got your starter switch going to the positive. You got your ground. You got your fuel. And that's all you need to do to start your motor up. So this is Dave Motorhead, and hope that helps some of you guys out. And you know, it's not really that hard to start these things up out of the car. Just a few little items, and you can test them all day long and break them in, do whatever you want to do. So hope that helps some of you guys out. Thanks for watching.